Hello everyone! Welcome to the 47th episode of The Ruins of Warsaw. I'm Alexandra and I'm the Storyteller.
Hi, I'm Dolores and I'm playing Janina of Clan Bruja.
Hi, my name is Faye and I'm playing Beatrice Wozniak as Clan.
And as always, we have partners as Keeper of the Elysium in the chat and taking care of tech for us, for which we are very grateful since it helps us a lot to focus on the game. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another episode of this story. We really appreciate your support and you being with us to see what Bea and Janina get up to. We will start, as usual, with a quick recap of what happened last time. We started when Bea and Janina entered the Elysium, and Bea, seeking to speak to the sheriff, she went with him to a different room and conveyed her suspicions that a member of Sabbat might have found her mortal husband, as well as what she discovered, that the mortal husband supposedly thinks that he's been reunited with his wife already. Sheriff seemed a bit taken aback by how often Bea was coming to see him about this. But he listened and asked her to find more information and establish what are the facts. He also advised that if Bea cares about this man and what happens to him at all, it might be better that she handles this on her own. Janina, meanwhile, spoke to her sire, who learned that she volunteered to help Zoya and Isidore, the other two Bruja, kill an Assamite who killed Zoya's child during Sabbath's attack on Hotel Bristol, and before participated in the attack on the Anarchs that Janina was somewhat responsible for. Daniel, her sire, wasn't pleased, and as Janina was insisting that she needs to take part in this action, he lost control and frenzied. But thankfully, Janina was able to contain him, and no one was much hurt. The next night, Janina and Bea got on some of the tasks that were waiting for them. Janina went back to the hospital where her goal to be a woman she saved from Zimishi was recovering, and Janina spoke to her for a bit, pretending to be her acquaintance from the same village, and then gave her some vita the second time. After which, Janina went to another hospital, this time the one where she has her lab, and is working on methods of preserving blood that could be stored in a blood bank, something that she is doing on a request of her primogen. She was working and achieving pretty good results. She confirmed her samples were holding well, and she spoke to her primogen's ghoul, Mr. Potocki, whom she previously asked if she could volunteer at the hospital, and he was reluctant. But this time he said that if the Bruja primogen was to agree, he would be willing to find for her opportunities to volunteer and help out in this way. Meanwhile, Bea, after being told that Ventrue primogen will be expecting to see her the following night, also ventured out of the Elysium at Hotel Bristol, and she went to investigate the place that, after a quick phone call and quick lie to the radio that was, to the newspaper that was putting up the advertisement for missing person, she was able to learn where her husband would be in the general area, and she went there to look for him. She indeed found a man who had the vaguest air of familiarity, as well as someone who looked like her at the moment, but was in fact Irmina, a Malkavian from Sabat, whom the coterie previously encountered. Bea decided to speak to Irmina, and they had a brief, tense conversation during which Irmina was saying that she wants to keep her husband now, and offered that Bea could take her place if she wanted to, but Bea wasn't very willing, and at first resisted the taunting and the suggestions and offer that was in this conversation, and then when she wanted to engage more and look into Irmina's head, found herself too mentally exhausted to do it. Bea and Janina reunited to recount to each other what they've been doing, and we ended the session when, towards the end of the night, but with still a little bit of time left, the last hour, a little bit more, Bea went to visit Antoni, the Ventrue hound, while Janina stayed in the room getting ready for the day and sleep. And we will start with Bea. You're walking through Hotel Bristol. On your way to Antoni's room, the way you remember more or less, but I would say you can definitely find the room number. I'm sure you have it written down. It doesn't take you long, and as you're approaching the room, walking along the corridor, you see a person that looks familiar, a pretty woman with golden blonde hair, wearing elegant but simple blue dress, walking in your direction from the other side of the corridor. She's walking swiftly, and you can see she's struggling to control her face, moving a hand across it as if she was trying to hold back or push back a tear. And then she notices you and forces a smile.
I will give her a tired smile back. I don't mean to pry, but you don't seem to be all right. You don't have to talk to me about it if you don't want to, but
you see that she actually she's not hiding anything. Roll perception and empathy to see if you notice anything.
Sure.
6. I'll make a roll button to see if.
Yeah.
See how she's doing. Controlling.
How is she doing?
No, that would be one success. That wasn't a good roll on my part.
It wasn't, yeah, but it was just to see if you, like, pick up on anything.
Okay.
So you don't get a super deep insight, but you do see that she is a bit startled, like she didn't expect you to come out and talk to her quite that much. But she stops. Thank you. She hesitates for a moment, but then almost bites her lip and slips back. It's a personal matter. I'll be alright. It's nothing that serious.
Okay.
But thank you.
Of course. I hope you have someone that you can talk to.
She pauses for a moment, closes her eyes. I'll be alright, but thank you. You've done enough for me. It may be nothing.
Okay. Well, take care of yourself, and I hope tomorrow is a better night for you.
She smiles a little bit more, but you see there's not that much joy or hope on her face. Thank you. I hope you'll have a good night as well.
Thank you. I think my face looks a little bit similar to hers at that point.
Yeah, she almost pauses for a moment and then she shakes herself. I'll be going, but thank you, I appreciate it.
Of course. And I'll continue heading down the corridor.
And she walks in the opposite direction, and then you see her go into one of the rooms further down the corridor. You reach Antoni's room.
Okay. I'll knock at the door.
You knock and you wait for a moment, but there is no answer.
Fair enough. Suppose you can't. Well, hopefully he's up and about. That might mean that he's doing a bit better. I sort of pause for a moment. And maybe wait for a couple of minutes, but if he doesn't show up, then I'll head back.
Are you waiting a couple of minutes, and you are thinking, you're starting to think about heading back, but you hear footsteps, and he emerges from a turn of the corridor.
I will smile as I see him.
He smiles as well. You see that he is wearing his long military coat like he used to when he was up and about, thrown over a quite simple shirt and quite elegant trousers. Well, perception and alertness with difficulty 7.
Okay. That's better. That is 4 successes with 110.
So you notice immediately that as he's walking, he walks in a way that he's clearly avoiding leaning too much to one side and putting too much weight on one side of his body. It's clearly accommodating some pain he's still feeling.
Okay. Well, if he's hiding it, then I'll not acknowledge it. That seems a bit rude.
You get a sense he's not necessarily hiding it. He just kind of adjusts his body posture. Okay. He's not like openly.
He's more avoiding pain
it.
as opposed to.
Yes, he's more just avoiding. Pain. Okay. With the way he walks. He comes up to you, Miss Wozniak. A pleasure.
It's good to see you. I was thinking I'd missed you.
I'm afraid I'm back on duty.
busy?
About to get very busy. I presume there's looks around. There's quite a few threats to Masquerade. To cover up after Sabbat.
Yes,
Somebody has to do it, and that somebody, since today, is going to be me. Would you like to come in for a moment? I know it's late.
If it's no trouble.
Not at all.
That'd be nice, thank you.
And he opens the door and lets you in. Coming in after you. He takes off his coat and hangs it in a wardrobe. Offers you a seat, himself sits on the bed.
How are you feeling? Are you more recovered than last time we spoke?
Yes, I'm recovered enough to be functional. It will take a bit more time, but being able to walk around should speed up the process as well.
If nothing else, it saves you staring at 4 walls.
It was quite a relief to stay in these 4 walls for a moment, if I'm honest.
Fair enough.
I have a feeling soon I'll be missing it.
True enough.
How have you been?
Busy. And I think there's a tiredness in my face, which I don't think I'm able to hide. There's just sort of that. There's a sort of exhaustedness to the laugh that I let out.
Is anything troubling you?
It's been a long evening, I'll put it that way.
I'm sorry. Would you like to forget about it and play cards?
That would be appreciated. I had a run-in with a SPAT member earlier, so it's always fun.
He pauses. He was like about to shuffle some cards, and he just freezes for a moment.
Yeah.
Are you all right? Are you hurt? Do you require anything?
No.
What happened?
It was about as civil as it could have been, I would say.
That's a new one.
No, I think she's planning a longer game, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I suppose. Well, either way, I'm not hurt, so.
If you require assistance, we are fighting the Sabbat, and I suppose I can try to persuade people to direct that fight towards that person, at least some of the resources.
That's a kind offer, but I think I'll try and handle it myself for the time being. I wouldn't want to waste resources on a personal problem.
Perception and empathy. Difficulty 6.
Will insightful or hidden pain apply in this situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of these will.
Void. 2, 4, 6.
Okay.
No, I can't do 7. I can't do math.
Okay, 7 is actually better than he rolled. Not by much, though. So you don't see, you don't get as deep an insight as you might have expected with that roll.
No, that's fine.
But you do see concern when you're saying you are going to take care of it yourself. And then when you say you don't want to waste resources, he sort of, he grimaces, and you see there is this deeper, like, pain and discomfort.
I give him an apologetic smile. I just feel like we're stretched thin enough as it is at the moment. I don't want to strain people further.
I won't pressure or pry, but if anything changes, let me know and I'll see what I can do.
That's very kind of you, thank you.
Of course.
And I give him a more genuine smile.
He smiles as well and deals you some cards.
I think at that point I sort of sink back into the seat more and look at my hand and try and focus more on the game. Try and put the events of earlier out of my mind, although I'm still feeling deeply uncomfortable and unsettled from the conversation with Ermina, and I'm still feeling quite violated by her kissing me. So I think there's occasionally sort of I'm trying to cover any distress, but I'm clearly exhausted.
Roll your self-control and subterfuge. And I'm going to give you difficulty 7 because
Yeah, that's fair.
you have no willpower.
Yeah, that's fair. No.
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 Nothing.
Nothing. I have a lot of dice and it was a nothing for me.
You notice sometimes that Anthony does look worried as he looks to you. But he doesn't pry further. He just focuses on the game, conversing about how the game is going. And there is a space there if you want to share more, but he's not prying. He's not commenting on the distress you're pretty sure he sees.
I think I'm not necessarily talking about it because I'm not entirely sure how to talk about it, or I think I'm also a little embarrassed about it. But I get so much discomfort from physical touch at the best of times. I've not really felt a major amount of embarrassment about that before, but I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm exhausted that I'm not controlling it as well. My hand is occasionally sort of moving up to my mouth, occasionally absent-mindedly sort of rubbing the back of my hand against my mouth. But I'll occasionally, when I'm less deep in thought, I'll also make comments on the game. Ask him if he's ever had experiences with people cheating.
At cards. Plenty. There was cheating, and there were fists that acted as a result. Nothing unusual. Sometimes there probably was no cheating, but suspicion was enough.
Sounds a bit more exciting than the games I've played with Janina.
I'm sure fists could be involved there.
She doesn't tend to do that with me.
I'm glad to hear.
Thank heavens for small mercies.
And he's smiling at that, amused. And you're spending some time with him, playing, trying to distract yourself.
And I'll relax a little bit. And try to excuse myself before it becomes uncomfortably early for either of us.
So as you start feeling tired, you excuse yourself and leave, and he wishes you sleep well and hopes to see you soon. And you start heading back.
I think there's a brief moment as I sort of exit where I turn around and I almost want to say something to him. I'm not entirely sure what. And then I just wish him good night.
And you start walking back towards your room. Meanwhile, Janina, you are left in the room. There's still a little bit of time. You said before that you just wanted to relax.
Yeah. Well, if I have time, then maybe I will go check to the Elysium if Daniel is there, because I want to talk to him. But if he's not, him or Nastia's there, I will get back.
Nastia, you would remember,
Okay.
spent she might be back
Yeah, I
tonight.
know that
She was staying with Zygmunt, but you could...
I will just check, and if any of them is there, then I will proceed socializing. If not, then I will just go back to the room.
So you head towards the Elysium.
Just a quick glance. I probably not even get inside.
Actually, you've just been there. I just remembered that you went there to look for romance.
In that case,
so you would not have seen Daniel or Nastia in there. I can tell you that.
I will just stay at my room and just maybe read some of the notes that I made and make some, write it better so it looked more presentable when I show it to Zygmunt. Just do some scholarly work.
Yeah, you're putting a little report or article. Start writing it. Roll your intelligence and expression.
I don't think I have them, but okay. Intelligence, I have at least something. Expression, I have
difficulty 7 to see how well you can convey your ideas.
I have a bunch. I have 2 ones.
So it won't be... Okay, so basically you're not saying anything wrong, but it won't necessarily be understandable to anyone else. It's full of jargon, it's full of shorthand, it's not very well structured. But as you're writing, there's a knocking on the door. Quite a lot of knocking.
Okay, I will ask, who is it?
Janina, it's me. And you hear Nastia's voice.
And I will put down the papers and excitedly run to the door to open her.
You open the door and you see Nastia standing there. She's still wearing her coat that she normally wears. There's a little bit of snow in her blonde hair. Her hair it's normally quite wavy, but now due to humidity and snow, it's kind of gone up a bit, and there's quite a lot of hair. And she's looking at you. And as you open the door and smile, I'm so glad to see you. And she starts coming in. Inside.
I will just close the door behind her and hug her.
She hugs you as well, and then she moves to kiss you and pulls you closer, and she's hugging you quite tightly. And starts kissing you quite passionately. Yes, I'm good. I just missed you. And she starts kissing you. For your perception and empathy. Difficulty 7 because you're a bit distracted, possibly.
Okay.
Or do you focus on how she's feeling, or do you focus on actually? how she...
No.
Or do you focus on the kisses?
I think I will like a bit of both. Like at first I focus on the kiss, but then when she says she's fine, then I'm more like concentrate on like see how she feels.
Difficulty 6 then.
Okay, I have 2 successes.
2 successes. So you do notice that she is kind of ignoring the question pretty much. Like, yes, I'm fine, but she really wants to, like desperately wants to hug you and kiss you and is pulling you closer. And like she desperately wants to focus on physical touch.
Okay, I will cuddle with her a bit, but after a moment I will just like sit with her on the bed and just stroke her hair.
So she will not be necessarily aiming to do that. She will be quite aggressive in pulling your clothes off.
I will just stop her. Because Bea will be coming any minute.
Do you say that?
Yes.
She kind of stops at this.
I missed you too, but I just... Let's just sit here and chat. I missed you. You seem like... Is everything alright? You know you can trust me.
And you see that she starts crying. And there's bloody tears that start running down her face.
I will stroke the tears away. You can talk to me. You know you can always talk to me. What happened?
I don't know. I just feel... I just feel so upset, and I don't know why. I just want to not feel in this way.
Did something happen, or it just suddenly?
No, I just feel so... I don't understand. I was going back from Zygmunt's place, and I went to feed on the way, and then I suddenly felt so... I don't even know how to describe it. I just felt so lost, and I don't understand what's happening with me. I just want to not feel this way.
And I will like hug her and stroke her hair and like hold her in an embrace. And
she hugs you like quite tightly.
Maybe you fed on someone who's intoxicated and drugged. I don't know. It feels so strange. But if it happened after you fed, maybe that's the reason, if you don't know anything else that could have triggered it.
Maybe. And you know,
just calm down.
She's still crying, and she's trying to wipe away tears, but they just keep coming.
I will just try to like comfort her and cuddle her like in my arms and just...
I don't know what's going on. I just feel so wrong.
There's nothing wrong. I don't know, if you don't know what's happening, then just calm down. You're home.
You're right.
You're safe.
I don't think I'm not sure. I'm not sure anymore.
Well, Bea will be coming any minute. Maybe we could ask her to check you. I don't know. Maybe she could see.
Check me how?
With her. Malkavian gifts.
That doesn't make me feel any better. All she saw was terrible stuff.
But maybe that's how we can figure out what's going on with you. It's alright, you're home, you're safe, you're with me. I'm protecting.
Your charisma and persuasion with difficulty 7 to see how much you manage to calm her down.
Okay. Difficulty 7? Then I have 3 successes. I have 8, 9, and 7.
Yeah. Alright, so she actually, as you're saying this and hugging her, she starts calming down a little bit. You notice she stops shaking, and she stops crying. She's still hugging you. But she eventually kind of straightens a bit and looks at you, and there's blood all over her face.
I will wait for a moment, and then I will probably go to the bathroom and bring like wet napkin to take away the blood from her face.
She takes it and she starts wiping it away, and she's looking pretty tired.
Will you stay here during the day with me? Of course you can.
I don't want to bother you and Bea.
No, you're not. I'm sure Bea will be fine.
Bea, around this time, I would say, you start getting towards the room. Roll your perception and alertness with difficulty 7 to see if you hear voices inside. You're muted.
It's a no.
It's a no. Okay, so you get to the door.
I could just walk in.
Okay. So around this time, as you're like wiping away Nastia's tears, and she's kind of calming down, the door opens. And Bea, you see that scene, and you see Bea in the door.
I just smiled and nodded Bea when I see her. And
I'm sorry, I should have knocked.
No, of course, you live here. It's alright. I hope you won't mind if Nastia will stay here tonight.
Yeah, of course, that's fine.
Thank you.
If you want, I can go through to the other room.
It's up to you. I just... She's upset and I look at Nastia.
I don't want to impose. I have my own room. I don't want to be...
No, you won't
trouble.
be alone.
It's alright. I also technically have my own room.
Well, I would love for both of you to stay here.
Fair enough. If that's alright with you, Nastia?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, you see that. Actually, roll your perception and empathy first. Difficulty 6.
Okay, I've got 3 10s for a start, so and some others.
Yeah, hidden pain will apply.
Okay, good.
So you do see, as you're looking at Nastia very clearly, she's now like a little bit more composed, and she's trying to, like, on the outside appear more composed, calmer, but you see that inside she is really scared. She's exhausted. She's very confused. And there's this anxiety almost ripping her apart that now has left a little bit of a burnout, but it's still very much there, not going away. And as you're looking at her and noticing it, roll your perception and occult with difficulty 8. Okay.
That would be 4 successes.
4 successes, right. So as you're looking at her, making sure she's okay with you staying here with her and Janina, and you notice her distress, you see the room goes darker, and you see shifting, crawling darkness that is clinging to Nastia's skin, wrapping itself around her body, and you see it pushing against her skin and piercing it and pushing it deeper and running through her body, through her veins, wrapping itself around her on the inside.
Given how distressed she already is and how much I don't think I can deal with the frenzying Bruja right this moment, I'm going to try to offer her a comforting smile and simply write what I see down in my journal, and I will deal with it another time.
Roll your self-control and subterfuge with difficulty 6.
Okay.
Janina, roll Yeah, roll your perception and empathy.
Okay.
Are you particularly focused on Bea?
I probably might gaze switch from one to another.
Then roll with difficulty 7 because you're not like actively focused on her.
I have 2 successes, 9 and 10.
I have 4.
4. So you don't notice. Bea is just giving a comforting smile. And Nastia just smiles back. And you see that it's a very much a forced smile. It's not ungenuine, but it's just she's just exhausted and too stressed.
I mean, I get that. And I'll go sit down on the opposite bed from them and make my notes. And elect to discuss it another time.
Janina, Nastia is sort of leaning against you.
I will probably do you want to get ready for bed? Or
Yes, I should. Yes, should probably go to the mirror. And she kind of grabs your arm for a little bit more, like she doesn't want to let go. Not grabs, but like touches.
I will go with her to the bathroom and like help her.
Okay, so as you come with her, she kind of goes along and she washes her face, washing the rest of the blood, and she takes off her coat and takes off her jacket, and is left in this undershirt and her trousers. I think that's as ready as I'm going to be for sleep.
I will like stroke her hair and kiss her on the cheek and let's go then.
Let's lie down.
Yes, and I will prepare the bed for her, like so she was. Usually I just lay down on the bed, but since Nastia's there, I will like put the blanket over her and just tuck her into bed.
She gives you a smile and a kiss, and just says thank you.
I will lay next to her and hug her.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on.
It's all right. I just want you to be all right and safe, and I feel better having you here with me. Just, I hope you have a good night's sleep. Well, day sleep.
I hope so.
And I will put my hands around her and hold her.
And she calms down a bit in your arms. And you both drift off to sleep. And Bea, you've written down what you wanted to write down. I assume you also get ready. You see Janina and Nastia are cuddling and going to sleep now.
I'll do a slightly more minimal preparation routine than usual, but I'll curl up in the other bed and just kind of stare at the ceiling for a while with the exhaustion and anxiety and missing mother.
And with that longing for your mother, you fall asleep. And it is another day that passes over Warsaw. And then the sun sets again. You can regain a point of willpower, each of you.
Yay.
Don't
say it, I don't want to hear it.
Well, yes, you know what else you can do. I was actually going to say that Janina, isn't your demeanor caretaker, caregiver?
Yes, it is.
Have a point of willpower extra for calming down Nastia and averting the breakdown and crisis. And Bea, you can roll for your nightmares. Your single die. Difficulty 7.
Can I postpone the Ventrue primogen again? Find my nightmares? Let's find out. No, I'm alright. I've got a 9.
You're all right.
You're sleeping like a baby.
Much to my surprise.
Yeah. Janina, as usual, you are the first one to wake up the following night as the sun has just set over the ruined city.
Okay,
You see Bea is sleeping calmly. You see Nastia is shaking a bit in her sleep.
I will just put my hands around her and tightly and just whisper, calm down, some soothing words to her that I care about her and that she's gonna be alright, and hold her while I'm waiting for them to wake up.
Is there anything in particular on your mind as you're trying to calm her down?
Well, I worry about her, because if it was just like what happened yesterday, then I wouldn't be as nervous, because I would really think it was just something bad she ate. But since I know that before, Bea saw something, her trying darkness or something, so I'm worried. And I really hope that she's gonna be alright, and there's just a bit of fear inside of me that something will happen to her, and I can deal with that. That's probably what I think the most.
And time passes. Bea, you open your eyes.
I'm still feeling pretty exhausted, but not as bad as yesterday, although I don't recall it very well. And I think I just take a moment staring at the ceiling again as I wake up, and then sit up.
So, Janina, you hear Bea moving.
Okay, I will switch my gaze towards Bea, and I watch her get up, and I just say to her, but I'm trying to speak quite whispery. I know that probably Nastia wouldn't wake up, but there's still this feeling that I don't want to wake her up, so I just spoke very softly and, hey, how are you?
Oh, evening. I feel like I could go for another day's sleep again, but
well,
never asked for the wicked, I suppose.
I guess that's true. And I will look at Nastia and stroke her hair while I'm speaking to Bea.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I just worry about her. I don't know. She came to see me yesterday, and she looked terrified and upset, and she doesn't know why. She said that she just fed and was all right coming from Zygmunt's place here, and suddenly it overcame her. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I hope it was just maybe someone intoxicated with some drug or anything, but I don't know. I worry about her.
As I glance at Nastia, I think there is sort of a bit of anxiety crawling in my gut when I look at her. Something unsettling. I can't quite put my finger on it. I'm sorry. Is there anything I can do?
I don't know. I was thinking about if you could see if there is, I don't know, something wrong with her, but I don't know if it's in your power to check her. I don't know. I just want to know if it's something supernatural related to what you saw earlier, before, or if it's just, I don't know, something personal that's...
Okay. I'll need to refresh my memory as to what I saw before, so I'll go and I pick up my journal.
And while Bea is doing that, I just continue stroking her hair and just smiling at her.
Well, opening my journal, I presumably find the note from last night.
You do, indeed.
Apparently I'm way ahead of you, I say. And I will hand the journal to Janina so that she can read it.
I will reach out and look at it and read it, and then just there's fear in me.
It probably doesn't make an awful lot of sense. Yeah.
Do you have any idea what it could be?
Not right now. I think I'd need to focus on it more, or I don't know. I might be missing the context clues. Sorry,
It's all right. It's better than nothing. I mean, I guess we wait for her to wake up and see how she feels, and then I don't know, I think we should show it to her, what you saw, so she knew, and I don't know, we could reach for help. But I mean, I don't want to go behind her back.
Well, I guess we'll discuss it when she wakes up then.
Yes.
I'll go get ready.
This time you notice Nastia. It's you and Janina as you're stroking Nastia. You notice that she's staring. And then she opens her eyes as Bea disappears in the bathroom.
Good morning. Well, good evening, but you know what I mean.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
Good to see you. I've been better.
Huh.
I'm not so... I suppose I'm a bit calmer, but I don't feel very well.
Well, about that. Did Belle left the journal, near me so I could, show...
I think I would have taken it back.
Okay, in that case,
I
I will...
probably left it on the bed.
I will retell Nastia that what Bea saw as best as I could, remember from what I read in the journal.
She listens to you and she looks worried, and confused. And says,
I will just...
What does it mean?
Bea doesn't know.
It's never anything good. I don't know what's wrong with me.
But at least
you're hearing this
something.
From the bathroom.
At least there's something.
I think when I'm hearing the slightly raised voices, I'll come back out with a sort of tired expression of Janina has no tact. And I'll come over and sit down on the opposite side of Nastia. I'm sorry that I didn't give you an answer that was of more comfort.
I know it's not your fault. And she kind of leans against Janina.
I will hold her and stroke her hair and kiss her on the forehead.
I think I should.
We should tell someone. I mean, we should ask for help. At least, talk to Zygmunt about it.
We mentioned it. But yes, I was thinking I should go back to Zygmunt. He says he's going to be at his study tonight.
Do you want me to come with you?
If it's not a problem. If that's okay.
Me, the player, do I have any arranged plans for tonight? Because
not really. Bea is supposed to see Ventrue.
Okay, in that case, it's fine. Then I will say.
At some point, you need to go back to the hospital to give your
the final
drop, sip of your Vita.
Yeah,
But it doesn't
that's
have to be
still,
tonight.
yeah.
She's not getting out of this hospital yet.
But still, that's like, that could be still manageable in one night, like both. So in that case, I will say, of course, I want to go with you, and I want to talk to Zygmunt anyway about my research, so I would be happy to come with you. It's gonna be alright.
Maybe you
We'll
can
protect
ask him
you.
about... You said something about volunteering? I'm sorry.
Yes, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Maybe you can talk to him. I want you to do well with your things as well.
Well, I want you to be safe, and I want to know what's trying to, I don't know, make you feel bad. Please, let's go to Zygmunt and we'll tell him about this, and I'm sure he's old and wise. He will maybe have some advices, or at least point us in the right direction. You're not alone.
Let's do that.
I think while I'm seeing that Nastia is becoming a little bit calmer, that now that there's like a plan, and while Janina's talking, I'd like to activate Scry the Soul and have a look at her. It is Scry the Soul.
You mean aura perception?
Yeah, that's the one. Sorry.
Wrong edition.
Yeah. I get muddled in my head.
Roll your perception and empathy with difficulty 8.
Cool. If it makes you feel any better, I always misuse the V20 terms whenever I'm playing V5.
I guess that's what happens with different editions of games.
It do. I've got 3 successes with 1 10.
I don't think 10 does anything specific here, but 3 successes is enough to see that, well, first of all, you see the pale aura of a kindred. And you see that the aura is shaking, the color is not quite clear, and you know that this is anxiety. Mm-hmm. And you see some blackness of despair and blue of sadness in her aura. You see, these are the dominant feelings, definitely the anxiety, the fear, the despair. You see there's some relief there now that she's hugging Janina, but it's rather bleak emotions.
Okay. As I'm sort of looking inwards on her, and I'm thinking about what I wrote in my journal, thinking about the thing trying to crawl its way into her veins, I think, once again, I would like to use Eyes of Chaos and see if I get any further insight into that. If I can.
I mean, I'm kind of inclined to say no, because you rolled for this exact thing before.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. In which case, I'll just sit there pondering. And I guess...
Are you going to be okay, Belle, if I go with Nastia?
Yes, that's fine. I'm sure I can give myself something to keep busy with. Oh, I meant to be seeing the Ventrue primogen, so I was going to be busy anyway.
Duties.
Yes.
Hope it goes well.
Thank you.
There's a knocking on the door.
I'll get it.
You see that Nastia strengthens herself a little bit and starts pulling on her jacket as this is happening. Yeah. And you go to the doorbell.
Yeah.
And you see Daniel standing there.
Hello.
Hi.
Janina.
Oh.
Hi, Janina.
I figured
I was
you were
actually
here.
hoping to talk to you, but...
Really? Sorry. Of course.
Happy to talk to you, Janina, as well. How are you? Any crazy ideas that I need to frenzy about?
I want to talk to you when you have time.
I have
alone.
time.
All right. Then I will just kiss Nastia on her hair and just look at her if she's gonna be okay if I go with Daniel for a moment.
She smiles and says, I'll be fine, don't worry.
Okay. And then I will just go towards the door and lead Daniel somewhere where we could be alone.
Right.
Probably
and Bea,
not
are you
like...
staying with Nastia?
Is Daniel wanting me to come with him if he wants to talk to me, or
It's kind of like whatever.
I guess I'll follow then. If Janina isn't trying to make me stay here, then
I just probably just say that that I will bring him back so they could talk. That I want to talk to him.
So you walk
That's
away.
fine. I will finish getting ready.
Yeah. You finish getting ready. Janina, you walk away with Daniel.
Okay. I will bring him, I don't know, to some
You can start going upstairs as if you were going to the attic, but sit on the stairs somewhere. You can find a more secluded corner, definitely.
Okay, then I will, when we are alone, I just look at him and, hey, I know I'm difficult sometimes, and I know I'm stupid sometimes too, and I sometimes say things that I don't mean, and I love you, and I don't want to cause you any pain, and I'm sorry if I sometimes say something that hurts you.
It's all right. I worry about you. That's all.
I know, and I know you feel guilty for a lot of things, but I guess I do too. I guess we just love feeling guilty, and I just feel so bad because I use humor to make things feel less awkward, I guess, but you know what I'm trying to say. I appreciate you, and I want to see you happy and safe, and I don't want to cause you any harm with my words.
I know, Janina. I know you use humor as a shield of sorts. I just suppose I don't have much humor left in me. It's not your fault. It's just what it is.
I know, but I want you to know how I feel about you, and I really care about you, and I know I do a lot of things that are stupid and reckless, and it hurts me to see you worry about me. I know you do, because I worry about you too.
Of course I do. And you were always reckless. I should have known that. I mean, I knew that, I just wasn't so.
So, that's all I just wanted to say, that I know that I don't always treat you with most respect, and but you know, you're like brother to me.
Roll perception and empathy.
Okay. I have, what is the difficulty?
6.
6?
Yeah.
Oh, then I have 2 successes, 6 and 10.
Successes. So you do see that he looks, as you're saying all this, he looks for a moment like he wants to say something, and then he just can't, and he stops, and you see this distress and guilt. Like he almost looks paralyzed with emotions for a moment, like he can't respond.
I just lean into a big hug and I just say, I love you, Daniel, and I don't blame you for anything that happened to me. It was my
You
decision.
should.
No, Daniel. You are the best thing that happened to me with Nastia and Bea. And just without you, I wouldn't met her. She's my little sister.
I should have.
Well,
I should not. How can you say that?
you're my family. I had no family before. My mother died, and you came into my life, and I'm so glad. And I want you to know that I care about you and that I don't blame you one bit for anything that happened.
He kind of emerges from a hug and looks to you, and you see that he is very distressed and shaken. You really should.
Stop.
I'm sorry for what I've done to you. I should I should have known better.
No, Daniel. I mean, there are times where I'm unhappy, but it's not your fault. It's just how things are, but I'm so grateful for you, for Bea, for Nastia. I wouldn't change it.
Just kind of, his shoulders kind of slump, and he looks at his feet and just shakes his head. I'm sorry.
Stop saying sorry. I really don't blame you. I swear, I never blamed you.
I know you will not understand it, but somehow that makes this whole thing even worse. I'm not saying that I would
regret
not want you. I don't regret knowing you, and I don't regret saving you when I did. But I regret what I did after, because you deserved better than this. You're too good a person for this. The things I took from you, all that you could have been.
Well,
I was stupid. I thought you would have had a life. And I know you've met people you care about, and I'm grateful for your company, and I care for you. But what we are, what we do, there's no justification for it. There's no justification for bringing anyone into it.
I know that you feel guilty, but I don't know what to say to not make you feel guilty, but other than that I'm happy for having you in my life, and I still think we can do some good. I mean, I know our existence is horrible, and I will always prefer people over kindred, but I still think there is something good we can do with what we are. And I know I've been in a dark place lately, but I guess now I feel a bit more hopeful, and I want you to be hopeful too. You're a good person. I know that. Even as a monster. You're a great man.
I wish I had your faith.
Well, I hope maybe with time, if I stop being stupid and actually make some good things, maybe you can have some of my hope back for you too.
What are your persuasion and charisma with difficulty 8?
Okay, just persuasion and charisma, okay. 2 successes. 10 and 8.
So he looks to you as you're saying this. He's still very tense. You do see that he's listening, but he's just full of pain and guilt and regret. And he says, after a moment of silence, I used to believe we could make something good out of this existence. Well, you remember, that's why I brought you into all of this. I thought we could make the whole world better for everybody, but then I should. He kind of leans against the wall and hides his face. Maybe I should tell you what happened with Nella.
Oh. And I remember what I did to Nella.
You do?
Yeah. I know that's one of the things I regret the most.
No.
I wish I could have met her under better circumstances.
What you did, what I did to her.
What did you do to her?
After you and I got separated, I thought you were dead, and I was hurt. I was burnt. I barely crawled out of there in, well, one piece. And I hurt people. I lost control and I hurt people. Trying to heal myself. And then I felt like something in me just died, and all that faith, all the bullshit I told you to persuade you to agree to this, it just seems so empty. And I thought you were dead, and I couldn't handle it, and I retreated from everything, and I just didn't believe we could do anything at all, and it's gone. Ever since then, it's gone, and then and you see he pauses, and you see he's struggling, he's almost shaking.
I will place my hand on his shoulder and just let him talk.
I didn't want to do this to Nella, but I saw some people, the soldiers, the fucking Nazis, they were gonna shoot her. And I remembered you, and I remembered what I've done to you. And I just lost it. And I killed them all. And I killed her. And that can happen. Ever since then. I know this can happen to either of us at any point. We're a danger to everyone.
I know, but we are already here, and if we won't fight, then we already lost. You have to try, and I know it sounds ridiculous coming from me because I was so depressed lately, but I don't want you to stop fighting. I want you to believe that we can still do good with what we are. You're a good person, and I know you think that I am a good person too, and I've hurt people. Not willingly, but by mistake, and of course it happens, and it's horrible, but people also hurt people.
I know. But not like that. I could never cause such destruction as a human.
Well, I can't say I feel sorry for Nazis, but...
No, but Nella.
I know, but... there are
I wanted
evil
to
people.
save her, and I killed her.
It happened to me as well. You know that. But I know when we are not ourselves, then I guess it sounds like it's not really you who's doing that. All we can do is manage the monster side of us and try to be better. I know it sounds ridiculous coming from me because I frenzy every now and then, but you know what I mean. I'm really trying lately, being better and keeping myself fed properly. You have been in a dark place, Daniel. It can happen to anybody.
Don't. It's just burden I have to carry, that's all.
I'm always here for you, and I want you to know that you can talk to me, and I promise I won't be joking around just about everything. I want you to not have regrets, because I'm already here and you're not getting rid of me anytime soon.
I don't regret having you around. You're one of the best people I know.
And I feel the same about you.
But I don't think I can forgive myself just yet.
But you can try, and maybe one day it's gonna be better. I just don't want you to lose hope completely. Just keep trying. It's gonna be better. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in a year or in 10 years, but maybe in 50 years. You're gonna feel better.
He kind of takes your hand and puts hand on your shoulder and kind of smiles a little bit. Then let's both try to make sure we survive another 50 years, okay?
Yes, I promise you. And I will lean in and hug him and kiss him on the cheek.
And he hugs you back. Meanwhile, Bea.
Yes.
You're getting ready. And you get ready. You see Nastia is looking at some of the paper Janina wrote the previous night, and then she puts it away. I don't understand any of this. But then I'm not really a scientist.
Well, that's how I feel anytime she starts talking about this medical stuff. She's a smart young woman.
Thank you, Bea, for your insight. Even though it's all pretty bleak.
Pretty bleak and ominous, yes. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever had a vision that wasn't bleak and ominous. So...
I suppose I don't know what I suppose about this.
That's fair.
I guess it works like a warning. That's how I would interpret it.
Yes, that's general.
Maybe I've been reading too much psychology lately.
No, I would agree with that statement. I mean, I've always been perceptive about things, even things that aren't really here physically, I guess. I don't know. I could see warning signs and the way that birds would fly and the way the clouds cover the moon, and I suppose it's more comforting to think maybe it's just my brain trying to keep me safe.
Well, I suppose it's better to know.
Indeed. And
do you have any idea what might be happening to me?
I pull out my notebook and I start going through it, and then I'll pause for a moment and then say to her, listen, this isn't anything personal. I suffer from memory problems, and I sometimes find it hard to put context together when I don't have the background understanding as to what I've seen previously and whatnot. But I'll go through my notes and see what I've written before and see if I can make any sense of it.
You mentioned before darkness reaching for me and Zygmunt.
Okay. And I start sort of flicking through the book, looking for sort of mentions of the darkness. Anytime I sort of see anything that's relating to her or Zygmunt specifically, I will sort of pause and sort of scan it and see whether it seems relevant. And I'll, as I'm going through it, I'll pull out some paper and start writing down all of anything that seems relevant and make a sort of connection board. Sorry, I've just pictured a wall of crazy.
You're making
dots.
That. Well, there isn't. You would find, I presume, the insights you had from Leonard, from when you met him, when he talked about the darkness reaching for the visionary, and the visions you had of darkness wrapping itself around something, an idea, thought, something bright.
Am I correct in saying that I've previously connected the darkness to being the Sabbat or something related to the Sabbat?
That was your hypothesis before, yes.
Okay. Well, then I will add that to the mix, and I will discuss it with her and say this has been a theory previously about this vision.
Yes. And then you started seeing this wrapped around Nastia, and moving between Zygmunt and Nastia one time at the Elysium.
Okay. So something that's potentially the Sabbat, or in relation to the Sabbat, wants to get its shadowy tendrils into Nastia and wraps around Zygmunt, wants to go after a visionary whom I previously assumed was Zygmunt / Nastia.
Yes. Do you explain it all to her?
Yes, I'm talking it through with her, trying to sort of piece it together.
She's nodding, and she's, I understand why someone would want to come after Zygmunt. He's powerful, and some people say he really rules the city. But why me?
You're working with him, aren't you? Actually, I don't know how much I know of that.
I think you would know that she spends time at his place, and that she and Janina are working with him. But so is Janina, and so is Jagoda, and so are many people.
A brief thought comes into my head of maybe you're his favorite, but I think I'll keep that one to myself. Perhaps it's whatever role that you provide to him, or a potential role that you provide to him.
Maybe
a way in which you can affect things.
She just looks confused and worried. But kind of taking it all in.
At least it's now less vague.
I'll explain it all to him.
Of course. If you need anything in future, or any more vague, ominous visions, or if you ever need me to examine something, I can see the past in objects and things sometimes.
If I have anything, I'll let you know.
So, just Janina's very fond of you, and I'm quite fond of you as well. So, if there's anything I can do, just let me know.
There's more of this, and she sort of looks to the ominous visions you outlined.
I will gesture vague.
Yeah. Just let me know, all right? I think I prefer to know if it's developing or changing somehow.
Absolutely. I gesture to the notes. You hang on to that, and if I have another blip where I can't remember, at least there's an easy access version.
And I think with that, it's a good moment to take a short break. Thank you so much, everyone, for following this story. We will be back in about 15 minutes to continue and see what our two kindred get up to. See you after the break.
Okay, see you.
And welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us to continue this story. And let's jump right back in. And I think we will start at the point when Janina and Daniel would have headed down after their chats back to the room where Bea is with Nastia.
We're connecting the dots.
Yeah. And you're all together. Daniel is whiter, but he's kind of looking to you, Bea. Like, so you want to have a brief chat? It's nothing really that secret. I just want to make some plans, I suppose, about things we talked about the other night.
Sure, I say, having no idea what he's talking about. Do you want to do that here?
I mean, yeah, we might as well. He's kind of glancing to Nastia and glancing to you, Janina.
I told her about that.
Well, since we're all
sharing,
well, and he's kind of losing the train of thought a few times as he's trying to start. Like, he's not fully there, but then he kind of just pulls himself together.
I can't even prompt him.
So you mentioned talking to Zoya to dissuade her from the task that will not kill us all, but might kill some of us, and that's bad enough for me.
Yeah, that would be bad.
I just wanted to, I guess, see where we are with that and ask what you're planning to do. Do you have any ideas?
I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't had an awful lot of time to think much more deeply on it. I was going to try and have a conversation with her and see if I could reason with her to maybe not. In fact, no, I wouldn't know to say that. I might see if I can roll to see how much I can hide the fact that I don't really know everything that he's talking about, if that's okay.
Manipulation and subterfuge.
Okay.
Difficulty 6, and I'm just gonna roll for him. It's the easiest way to do it.
Well, with all the ones, that's a whole one success.
You feel like you're not doing the best job, but he seems to not be fully there, so you're not quite sure if he's picking up on anything or drifting off himself.
Okay. I think I'm occasionally glancing to Janina with a sort of, not quite panicked expression, but a sort of uncertainty.
Janina, roll your perception and empathy.
What was the difficulty?
6.
8 and 10.
You see that Bea doesn't remember a lot of context of all of this.
Okay,
And
then I
she's
will probably
confused.
try to step into the conversation and say something to remind Bea what we talked about and about Zoe's character and what she's planning to do, and that I still want to help her, but if she persuaded her, then I would of course agree with it and help her to, I don't know, with her ideas.
I'm focusing very heavily on what Janina is saying, and I think it will jog a bit more of the sort of hazy memories that I have. My hope was that I could attempt to reason with her. We have all lost people, and I don't want to lose more people on the off chance that we might kill one person.
Your glances to Janina. Glances to you. I mean, let's try that.
I suppose we'll have to think of a backup plan if that doesn't work.
Well, I promise you all that I'm not gonna let anyone kill myself, because I will retreat if the situations get bad, and I'm sure we can make it work if the worst happens.
I look at you a little surprised when you say that you'll retreat if things get bad. I don't
Nastia
comment.
looks a bit surprised as well.
Yeah.
She says,
I probably made a look at Daniel when I say it, because it's meant for him especially.
Yeah. Nastia just says, please do.
Of course.
And Daniel looks to Janina and says, well, I'll bloody make sure of that, that's for sure.
But, I mean, if you want to talk to Zoe, at least try it. I mean, we can't lose anything by talking with her. Maybe it will spark another idea that she could, channel her anger into.
I mean, I hope we can persuade her. But you should know Zoya is stubborn.
I'm going to be honest, Daniel. I'm not sure if I've met a Bruja who wasn't.
See where you're coming with this, but she's different. She's stubborn with this cold determination.
Sorry, just get emergency. I'll be back.
Yeah. Of a person who knows what she wants. And when she wants it, well, it's not that she's unreasonable. She's very rational. But she's rational, cold, and fearless. I don't know everything about her. I know she was a terrorist back in life. Her group killed some quite high-up officials. I don't know how involved she was, if at all.
Well,
it's possible to reason with her, but the argument to sanctity of life might not be the best one to take.
What about trying to convince her to not act quite so quickly and maybe taking a bit more time with it?
It could work. Roll perception and empathy, both of you.
Well, I didn't roll well.
What did you get? You have a botch, okay.
It depends. Would tens come into this?
I don't think so, no.
That's fine. 4 successes.
That's enough. So, Janina, you don't see this. But Bear, you realize that there's something more he wants to say, but he doesn't want to say it with Janina present.
Can I direct my thoughts to... can I use telepathy and, send my thoughts to people without spending the willpower?
Yes.
Okay.
It's intelligence and subterfuge still.
Okay.
Difficulty 5.
Okay. And that is 5 successes.
Yes, you can tell him quite a bit.
Okay. I don't need, too much. I'm mostly just going... Shall we talk outside after this?
He sort of looks to... He looks a bit startled briefly and then looks to you and just kind of... doesn't really do much. Janina, you don't notice this because you had a botch, but you think there's an acknowledgement of receiving the thought.
I'll just sort of slightly just nod my head as if in understanding.
He just says, well, we can still think about it.
Absolutely. I'm going to be busy this evening, unfortunately. Duty calls.
I understand.
But depending on how that meeting goes, I'll hopefully know what spare time I have afterwards. Janina, are we meeting back up here afterwards, or?
Yes, I think I will definitely come back. If for some reason I stay with Sigmund's place, I will leave a note at the reception. I will call.
Appreciated.
And Nastia says, right, shall we get going?
Of course. Yes. And I will say goodbye to Bea and to Daniel. And leave with Nastia.
Once they've left the room, I'll turn to Daniel.
So once they left, and he waits a little bit, but once they left, he looks to you. I did not want to say this, because she would protest. But what thing you could try to do, if you talk to Zoya, is to persuade her to not take Janina. I tried to convey this to Janina. She wants her there because she considers her an expendable loss. Wouldn't put it in quite those terms, but I know her well enough. Not that she would ever plan for Janina to die, but
She just simply doesn't care.
not much, no. Not in this moment.
There's a flicker of somewhere between anger but also understanding in me, of understanding the pragmatism behind that, but also that's my sister. And she wouldn't be convinced by the sanctity of your life and Isidore's.
Isidore is going either way because he won't let her go on her own.
I understand
he doesn't
that.
particularly want Janina either. Zoya doesn't want me there that much, but we've been together for so long, she's used to me helping. She's not a bad person. She's just
Pragmatic?
that, and in pain. And it clouds her judgment.
Well, unfortunately, we're all in pain. We've all lost people.
We have. She just wants to do something about it. And it's not like I think she's entirely incapable of doing what she wants. I just don't want Janina to get caught in the crossfire. I don't think I could. I just can't let that happen.
Of course. And I don't want to let that happen either. Then I suppose I will start by trying to dissuade her from this, and if that doesn't work, then I'll change tactics and try to dissuade her from taking Janina.
I hope you can get through to her, one way or another.
I hope so too. Because there's not enough people we can rely on. And to be honest, even though I don't necessarily know her, I don't think that potentially losing her or Isidore is worth it.
I don't think so.
I guess I'm just a bit burnt out on vengeance at the moment.
I don't even know on whom to enact vengeance, to be honest.
I feel like if I started that list, it would just keep on going until there's just blood everywhere. Probably mine, given I'm useless in a fight, but, you know. Anyway.
I suppose the problem of Zoya is that she's very good in the fight.
Oh.
But it's not like she thinks she can take this Assamite one-on-one. There's more planning involved, but I think she's acting on pain. to an extent that's dangerous.
That's maybe an angle I can work, but probably risky for me, but might work.
I know your clan has certain gifts. I wouldn't recommend trying to use them in case she realizes.
Yes, I'd rather not have my face rearranged.
She's struggling being here. I think she's struggling with most of us all. Anyway, get going. I should probably check in on her and Isidore and see what state they're in.
I hope that they're doing all right, and I hope that you're doing all right.
I'll survive.
See that you do.
Likewise.
I'll do my best.
I will see you later, and thank you for doing that.
Of course.
Maybe you'll have more luck than I did.
Well, where Janina's decent at medicine and getting into trouble, I like to think I'm all right at talking. We'll see.
Thank you.
Anytime.
And he leaves you on your own.
I lock up and head out.
What's on your mind? Sorry,
I was just going to ask, is it the right time for me to start heading towards the Ventrue primogen's offices, or would it be a bit early for that yet?
I mean, you could start heading out soon. You have time to maybe do something quick before that if you wanted.
I might just take my time on the walk then, rather than trying to rush it later. You were asking me something.
Oh yeah, I was just asking what's on your mind as you're strolling there.
Concern, wanting to I guess I'm just burnt out on all of the death and all of the loss that's been going on, and there's this, it's not quite a revulsion towards the concept of vengeance, but there's a sort of wanting to avoid it. I don't know where that's quite stemming from, but there's discomfort surrounding the concept of vengeance there. As much as from what I vaguely remember of Zoya, that she obviously doesn't want to be here, and she doesn't get along with the Camarilla. She's still, at this point in time, under the umbrella, so to speak. And so I consider her part of my people. And I don't want to lose more people, whether I like them or not. And I respect Zoya. And there's also this stress regarding Janina. And so I'm now thinking that I should maybe try and have this conversation when Janina is not around, because I know that if I start arguing for Janina to not be included, she's going to shoot that down. So, yeah. I don't like the idea of doing it behind her back, but I need to keep her safe.
And you're walking through the city with those thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
It's not snowing right now, but there's quite a lot of snow in the street, so the walk is going a bit slower. You have to be careful not to slip.
I will be obfuscated for the trip, since it's not really... I don't feel safe being out by myself and visible.
Of course. And you are heading to your meeting with the Ventrue primogen. Meanwhile, Janina, you left the room with Nastia, just putting on her coat, ready to go out.
Okay, then I will just get outside, and on the way I probably tell her that if there will be an opportunity for me to feed, then I would like to feed.
Of course. Thank you for coming with me. I appreciate your support in this. I'm so glad. I'm really glad to have you.
I feel the same, and I feel better knowing that I'm with you. I don't want you to feel alone.
You help so much. I would probably feel very alone with all this if it wasn't for you.
Well, I'm glad I'm here. And I will stroke her face and maybe hold her hand for a bit.
And she's holding your hand, and she asks, how have you been doing? I haven't even asked, I'm sorry.
I'm alright. I feel quite well, I guess. I worry about you, but I also worry about Bea and Daniel. But other than worrying about everyone I love, it's fine. And I smile at her genuinely.
She smiles. I'm sorry, it's such a stressful time.
I guess it's part of having a family and the people you care about.
I tried reading your notes. The ones you started writing up. I didn't really understand much.
I wasn't in the best yesterday, I guess. I was tired already, so I probably will have to rewrite it anyway.
It might just be me. Anyway, Zygmunt is very interested, very invested in what you're doing.
Yeah, I know, I hope.
I'm sure he'll be glad to see you as well.
I will happy to see him as well. I'm always happy to talk with him, and he's such a calm man for Bruja.
On the outside, I suppose. I know he can get angry.
Yeah, probably he does, but he's so good at composing himself.
I suppose when you live for so long, you have to be.
Yeah, probably. Well, I'm looking forward to see him, but even more, I just want to talk to him about, well, what's happening with you, and I really hope he will have at least some ideas, or point us to someone else who could know something. Because there's no way I'm going to let the darkness take you from me.
I'm so glad to have you. And she kisses you.
I will kiss her back as well. But if we are outside, I will do it in a more quick manner, because I don't feel really comfortable.
You are in the street, and you see that she just doesn't care. And she kind of looks to you and says, if someone has an issue, I'll kill them. And she smiles and kisses you.
I will smile and kiss her back.
And then you keep walking, and you're looking for someone to feed from.
Yes.
Roll your wit and alertness with difficulty 7.
Very sweet. Sorry, I'm always so lost when I look for things. Difficulty 7?
7.
Okay, then I have 2 successes.
2 successes. So you're walking. At first, you're talking to Nastia and kissing her, and it is you're quite distracted, but then you start looking more carefully, and it's a bit of a walk. You will be walking for about an hour. You are walking near Łazienki Park, where you remember the Anarchs used to have their haven. And as you are walking past the park, as you're kind of walking around it, you are in a more shaded area. It's quite empty here. You turned away from more frequented streets now. You see a man walking on his own, his hands in his pockets, kicking some of the snow ahead of him as he walks. He looks to be in his 20s.
All right. Is he like in front of me or?
He's in front of you.
Okay.
He's sort of walking like from the opposite direction. And then you notice that he turns. So you could you could run after him, or you could try to turn as well and interact with him.
I will probably wait for him so I could have his back towards me, and then I will sneak on him. Just the snow crunching.
Of course. Roll your dex and stealth, and you can add your celerity to the pool as well.
Okay.
Difficulty 6.
Okay, then I have 5 successes.
Oh, easily. He doesn't notice you at all. You feel like you thought there would be snow crunching under your feet, but you managed to place them quickly and gracefully enough that you don't make any sound. And before he even realizes anyone is there, you're on him and you bite in. How much blood do you have right now?
6.
You're right. How much do you take?
2.
2.
I'm being safe.
So you feel, as you're feeding, you feel this pleasure, as always, of Vita that's nourishing you. And as you're feeding, you feel you would like some more. You become more aware of your wounds that still weren't healed. And something in you is calling for more, to mend yourself, to feel better. But you're in control of this instinct. And you pull away.
I will place him somewhere near the tree or something, so he wasn't just lying on the ground. Nah.
Of course, no problem at all.
Michael, nah. Sorry, Michael's keep playing with the dice.
No worries at all. We have a new player.
Yes. No.
What did he roll? We need to know.
We need to know how Michael is rolling. That's Janina's next roll.
Yeah.
No, actually, no. But
I didn't find it. I don't know where it is. So
okay.
I was going to ask what he rolled, but it's
tell us
mystery.
later.
I don't know. It's somewhere. I couldn't find it, so
don't worry. So you leave.
I'm sure he will find it later.
Well, I'm sure. You leave the man there, and you walk further with Nastia, feeling more nourished now, although still aware of your wounds.
Yes.
Meanwhile, there, you are getting towards the building where Ventrue primogen Stanisław Lubomirski has his office. It is a large, white building. You see the plaque outside that it is headquarters for the Central Committee of the Polish United Workers' Party. And as you get to the door, you give your name. You know the routine by now. Someone is expecting you there. There is Miss Archewska, the ghoul who greeted you before. And she says, wait here just a moment, please. And you are in the lobby of the building. You see the decorations with statues of workers and hammer and sickle motifs. What's on your mind as you're waiting here?
I think at the moment I'm admiring the statues. I'm curious as to what this meeting is going to entail and what I presume it's more work, which I'm glad for. It's good to have a purpose. But I'm not really speculating anything at the moment, mostly because I can't remember. So I'm just looking around with curiosity.
And you see Miss Archewska has gone upstairs after telling you to wait. And you wait for some time. It's still, they're a bit early.
That's fine.
So it's not like you're waiting beyond the time when you were supposed to show up. And you hear footsteps coming down. Very gentle, graceful footsteps. And you see Mikhail Orlov, the Toreador primogen, come from upstairs, dressed now in elegant, perfectly fitted black suit. And Miss Archewska is coming after him. And as he descends from the stairs, she disappears in one room to the side and comes back with a coat and a hat that she offers to him and he puts on. He notices you and gives a smile.
I will smile politely at him and nod my head respectfully. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Ms. Wojciak.
I hope you're well.
I am, thank you.
Glad to hear it.
Have a pleasant night.
Of course, sir. You as well.
He's perfectly polite, perfectly relaxed with you. You just get the feeling he needs to be getting somewhere.
That's fine.
So he leaves.
I'm not going to try and hold him up.
After which Miss Archewska comes up to you and says, Ms. Wojciak, you can now come upstairs.
Thank you, ma'am. And I will give her an equally polite smile.
And you head upstairs. And you go to the office of Mr. Lubomirski. You are let inside. You've been here before. And I'm sure you have the place written down in your journal.
I do.
The Ventrue primogen is in his office. He sits behind his desk. As before, you see behind him emblem with white eagle on red background and another one with hammer and sickle that he doesn't seem to pay much attention to, but it's there. He gestures for you to sit.
As I enter the room, I'll bow respectfully and then take a seat.
Ms. Wojciak.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I wanted to thank you for your assistance in the recent interrogation and for your insights from the whole endeavor.
Of course, sir.
Are you well? Is there anything you require?
I'm all right, sir. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. If there is anything while we're working together, you can of course count on assistance.
Thank you, sir.
But I asked you here to discuss further steps.
Of course, sir. And at this point, I will pull out my journal and listen intently.
We are, as I'm sure you would be expecting, planning further actions to retaliate against the Sabbats. The prisoner that you helped to interrogate and helped to capture. And he smiles slightly as he says that. Revealed the information that some might hope to free him. We are planning to use this to bait them and kill them. From what I've been told, particularly a Nosferatu who calls himself a gravedigger is likely to show up. My question to you is, how comfortable are you with this plan? And do you wish to be involved?
Any aid that I can provide, sir, I will do so. And then I slightly unfocus from him and I focus on the plan, the bait, the plan to kill Sabbat members, Gravedigger, and I presume I'm probably going to get some sort of vague, there's going to be violence and people will get hurt, but I would like to activate Eyes of Chaos in case there's anything that jumps out at me being particularly relevant to the situation.
Sure. Roll perception and occult. I would say difficulty 9 because you don't know much
That's
about
fair.
this at all.
Absolutely. I have 2 9s and a 10.
All right. So, you focus at it for a moment, trying to get insight into this plan. And you feel sudden pain inside. Something pulling at your heart, something pulling at your thoughts, pulling them into directions. And you see briefly Arek reaching towards you as you saw him during the interrogation with pain and hatred and relief and the consolation and all the whirlwind of emotions on his face and his thoughts, and he's reaching towards you and you reach towards him and you reach inside him, and as you reach inside him you see the same things that you feel inside you pulling in different directions. You see there's more. You see yourself pulled in different directions in this. You see this happening from several different angles. You see some other strings tugging you away from this in a different direction, and you get this sense. What I'm trying to convey through this description is you get this sense. You don't get a sense about the details of a plan or how it will go as such.
Absolutely.
But you get an insight about being torn and there being things you don't know yet, something unknown, something coming at you from directions you don't expect, pulling and twisting. It's you who then pulls at this plan and is in it. Miss Wozniak, are you all right?
I'm sorry, sir. I see myself being pulled by many strings in different directions with this. I wonder whether it would be more prudent if I were not too closely involved in this particular instance, if it might cause a jeopardy to the plan.
Forces and things being pulled in different directions.
Yes,
is
sir.
not necessarily an indication which direction you will follow.
That is true, sir.
Do you trust yourself? You've shown perfect commitment and loyalty so far. I understand what you're telling me. And if you don't feel comfortable with the plan, you can, of course, stay out of it. I will understand. But I have no reason to doubt you if you assure me of your loyalty and commitment.
I'm committed to the Camarilla, sir. It is my first priority. And I think with that sort of voice of acknowledgement and belief that I'm capable, and I don't think that I would willingly betray the Camarilla. So in which case I will say, if I get any further insights that indicates that this might put things in jeopardy, I will let you know immediately, sir, and I will take a step back. But I want to try.
Of course, Miss Wozniak. And if you find yourself doubting your loyalties and needing to talk, I will make time for you.
Thank you, sir.
As I promised when we established the patronage.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
The plan is quite simple. We intend to, at the opportune moment, transport the prisoner somewhere convenient, with the intention of leaving him there for the sun. Before that, we intend to let Sabat know through the channels that wouldn't be immediately suspicious. And if they indeed come for him, we will have an opportunity to act against them.
Understood, sir. Makes sense.
With your insights, do you have any idea how to contact the Sabbats. Is that something you feel capable of doing?
There's a moment as he asks me that where there's a couple of things kind of pulling at me that I can't quite place my finger on. Excuse me, sir, let me check my notes for a moment.
Of course, Miss Wozniak. Do not hesitate.
Thank you, sir. And I go back through some recent pages and reminding myself of Irmina is the first one that I come to. And I also check back over the notes from RX interrogation. I believe Irmina was mentioned during the interrogation.
She was. Edwin Zasarnowski had him describe everyone he knew in the Sabbat.
Okay. I believe I have a rough idea where I can find one of their members.
Excellent.
And she was one that was brought up during the interrogation. I don't imagine it would be hard to taunt her with the knowledge.
That is not what we had in mind. Although it is up to you if you think there is a better approach than what we were to suggest.
I'm happy to listen to what was in mind first.
I know you had a history with the prisoner.
Yes, sir.
We thought, as a way to convince the Sabbats to act, you might want to contact them. Feign feeling guilty. Try to warn them. Establish a relationship. It seems like something that could be believable. They think we're just weak and ready to break down at any moment. You could even mention you fear it's a trap. Sabbats. One thing you can count on with them is that the fact that something is a trap is not very likely to deter them if they want to do something. And if they indeed want to save that gangrel, they will not be dissuaded by danger. The intention here is that we'd like the message to get to Gravedigger, since he was indicated as the one most likely to come.
The one where I know the location of is the one known as Irmina. I believe they had some connection to each other.
Presumably, they know each other. There aren't that many of them. I would assume they are all in contact.
They do seem to be a tightly knit bunch. I could certainly swing that either way. Although given she's a Malkavian, I think. Mm. I'll have to be cautious of certain insights that she might acquire as well.
Of course.
But I think there's certainly a way that can be done.
Very well, Ms. Wojciak. I appreciate you being cautious about the matter, and I appreciate you sharing your reservations brought by your insights.
Thank you, sir. The last thing that I want to do is cause problems.
He just smiles, this benevolent smile. Well, in this case, Ms. Wojciak, you only need to make sure that you don't.
Yes, sir.
And you see, it's not said in a threatening manner. It's more...
No, absolutely.
It's almost guidance.
Yes. And when I straighten up, it's not out of fear. It's more out of a responding to authority and taking that in. And I respect him a lot, and I appreciate that he is granting me the guidance that he is. So yes, it's more feeling further determination to do well.
If you manage to deliver the information, we have a good chance to free ourselves from some of the unwanted Sabbath company at least.
Understood. Sir, I wanted to mention one of Count Grabowski's people is, so I hear, currently planning an attack on the Sabbat using explosives.
Oh yes, Zoya. I'm aware of that one. And you see something in his eyes go slightly colder.
That's fair. Would it be worth seeing whether she would take the vengeance bait and become involved, or would she be too much of a loose cannon?
The trouble with people like Zoya is that, capable as I'm sure she is of certain things, they don't take direction well, which can jeopardize the whole enterprise.
Understood.
I am not opposed to what she's doing right now. I'm happy to let what remains of anarchs carry out their vengeance. There is a chance they will succeed. When it comes to acting on our plan, I would not be opposed to extra manpower. If she or her associates were happy to lend it, if you could arrange it, that would be a great service.
I'll see what I can do.
My concern is that once Zoya learns the whole extent of who's involved in the planning, asks the Camarilla, she might become difficult. But if you could persuade her to cooperate on this occasion, you would have my gratitude for this.
Understood, sir. I'll see how well the conversation goes.
See what you can do.
Yes, sir. Is there anything else that I can do, sir?
No, I think, unless there's anything else you wish to bring up or discuss, I'm happy to let you proceed. Keep me informed on how successful you are establishing the relationship or slipping the information. When it comes to the information, we will want you to inform them of specific date once we have it.
Absolutely. Okay. Which I'll see what I can do with Zoya in the meantime, and I'll start thinking about the best ways to communicate with Hermina.
If you wish to go along the road of establishing a relationship and feigning guilt, my suggestion would be to start earlier. Tell them you're afraid this is going to happen. Tell them you heard something. You're capable. I'm sure you can think of what will be the best approach.
Yes, sir.
And then they will be expecting you to inform them about when we are moving Arek.
Understood, sir. I will get to work.
Thank you, Ms. Wojcik. Have a pleasant night.
Of course, sir. And to you as well. And I will politely excuse myself with a bow.
And you leave his office. Meanwhile, Janina. You and Nastia turn into a small street called the Professor's Street, which has several smaller houses and bigger villas. Sigmund's one is one of the... It's not the biggest one, but it's a fairly decent house. You come up to the door and Nastia knocks. And someone opens. A woman dressed in checkered jacket and trousers. And she just lets you in, clearly recognizing Nastia, and tells you that Mr. Ray is upstairs in his library. And Nastia takes your hand and just says, "Come on, let's go."
I will nod to the woman in greetings, and then I will follow Nastia.
And you come up to the room where you were before once. You see Zygmunt is sitting in an armchair in a room with quite a lot of shelves quite a lot of books on the shelves. You see the portrait you saw before, a portrait of a blonde woman, and a painting of several soldiers, one of them being Isidore. And you see near Zygmunt slightly leaning against his armchair is Jagoda, who, as you're kind of coming up, you see she's holding some like rolled up quite big papers under her arm, and she's clearly getting ready to leave. And Nastia just comes up. Good evening. Hi, Jagoda. And Jagoda just smiles at her and says, good to see you. Janina.
Good evening, and I will first look at Zikond and then to Jagoda and nod to both of them and wish them a good evening.
Zygmunt says, Janina, what a pleasant surprise. Very good to see you. Nastia, I will be just a moment. Jagoda was just leaving. And he turns to Jagoda, my dear, all that is left is for me to wish you good luck on your quest. And she smiles, I'll see what I can do, but as I told the prince, I don't expect miracles. Zygmunt, fairly relaxed in his armchair, is just saying, and yes, sometimes they happen. I'm sure your sire is still out there, as unwilling to talk to us as ever, but present. Jagoda just shakes her head. I'll see what I can do. Good evening to all of you. I better be going. And she leaves, leaving you with Zygmunt, the library. He stands up. Shall we move more towards the living room? There's more sitting space in there. Of course. And he moves towards the room with the paintings and sits himself in another armchair, gesturing for the both of you to take a seat.
I will sit.
Nastia, I was of course expecting you. Janina, what brings you here? You're always welcome, of course.
I look at Nastia and I just wanted to accompany Nastia because she has been feeling very well yesterday. And I also wanted just to catch up with you.
You're always welcome here, Janina.
Thank you.
Nastia speaks up. I'm afraid we have not the greatest news. I've been feeling quite distressed, and I don't understand why. Yesterday, and then Bea Woźniak, the Malkavian, she told me she saw something disturbing again. And Nastia starts describing what was explained to her from Bea's vision, and then some of the other visions and informations and hypotheses that were formed. And Zygmunt is listening, and you see that he's listening very attentively. Not interrupting. Even as Nastia tries to explain and looks kind of confused, he's just letting her finish. That is indeed worrying information. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Janina?
Well, I guess Nastia said everything that Bea conveyed to her, so I don't think there's like anything new. Well, I don't remember that Janina would have anything else to add, because I'm pretty sure Bea...
No, I think it was all covered.
Everything. Yeah, so yeah, I just confirm everything that Nastia is saying. And I probably ask if he has any idea, what could it be?
You informed me before of this instance in there, that something is after me and Nastia here. So Nastia's and Bear's hypothesis is Sabbat. I am inclined to agree unless there is something at play none of us realizes. What do you think, Janina? Presented with all this information, what would be your conclusion?
To be honest, I have no idea. I'm just worried about Nastia, and I just hope that we can stop it from happening. But honestly, I have no ideas of my own besides that it's somehow related to Sabbat.
So you agreeing with the Sabbat hypothesis? I
have no other options or ideas, so it's the only option that makes sense to me.
That's reasonable.
At this moment.
I am concerned by this, although not surprised if it's indeed Sabbat that's after me. What worries me more is Nastia's safety. I must believe I can take care of myself. He smiles a little bit. Nastia, I would like you to stay here more often from now on, and by my side when I travel to the Elysium. If, whatever danger is coming, I'm sure I can protect you at least, to the extent of my capacities. Which, you know are clown. I don't want you to think that I'm not taking this seriously. I am concerned, but the darkness obviously brings to mind Clan Lasondra. We know they're active in the city. A young one tried to claim my power back during the Sabbath attack. He is of no concern to me.
Well, I will be more calmer if I know that Nastia will be with you.
I don't think that your Malkavian friend is indicating the young one that I've met. He is of the darkness of abyss, like some like to call it, but he's just a child, really. Either way, Malkavians can provide great insights for their gifts, but those insights tend to be vague and imprecise.
Sorry, I was
attacked. Are you
okay,
Dolores?
I was attacked. Mike was being mean.
You were attacked.
Yeah.
Yes. Just
not
for no reason
not
at
Nastia.
all. Yes, me.
That's the
by
twist.
The darkness. By the black fur.
The darkness
It's true.
in the form of a black cat attacked a player.
My insights came true.
The prophecy.
Yeah, the prophecy.
I was just sitting here minding my own business and he attacked me.
Oh.
So mean.
It's good to be cautious and aware of those warnings, but we cannot let them paralyze us, and we cannot abandon our endeavors as a result of fear. Be careful, of course, Nastia, but we shouldn't lose our heads, scared of darkness that may come. Would you agree? And he asks both of you.
I will nod my head, and I will probably hold Nastia's hand and just squeeze it.
She squeezes your hand. Zygmunt's just smiling, looking at you. And she says, I agree. I want to focus on what I'm meant to be doing, and I believe in. I don't see what else we can do except being cautious. I will keep this in mind, says Zygmunt. If there's anything else that emerges from my memory or intuition, I'll make sure to assure your safety, Nastia.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry I don't have more of the answers. If I was blessed with the gift to interpret all such imprecise warnings, there's a lot more we could have achieved by now. But alas, I am just a man.
Yes, I'm just glad that we could talk with you about it.
You can always come to me and talk. That goes for both of you.
Thank you.
You've been a bit aloof recently, Janina. How is your research going?
It's going well, and I probably reach out for my notes that I make, and I will just look at them, and I probably don't give him the notes, but I will just read them and just explain things that I managed to do and how I think that it progresses.
That is great to hear that you're able to keep the samples. Even if we can store the blood for a week, that's already a good first step.
Yes, I will continue working on it.
Is there anything else you wish to discuss? We see each other not that often recently. And then Nastia kind of nudges you a little bit.
I will nod at her yeah. I've been speaking with Mr. Potocki, and I was wondering if I could. I know he's a busy man, and the hospital is always in the need of volunteers, and I really wanted to offer my help to, help with something else in the hospital. But Mr. Potocki was quite reluctant to let me do it unless I talk it with you and have your blessing, I guess.
Mr. Potocki knows how much your project means to me.
Yes, I know, of course. I still want to work on the project, but I have some time that I usually spend doing nothing at my room at the hotel, so I just wondered if you would be all right if I sometimes just helped Mr. Potocki in the hospital.
If you feel you have time to spare, with it's a question of priorities, Janina. And I don't want to dictate to you what and how you will prioritize. What do you think, Nastia? And Nastia just kind of looks surprised at this. And she looks to you immediately. And Zygmunt smiles. But kindly. Don't look to her, Nastia. You need to learn to be a reasonable decision maker. What is your opinion on the topic? And Nastia's looking to you and looking to Zygmunt. She's clearly wrestling with something. She shakes her head. I think the research is a more important work that should be prioritized. But if there is a time when Janina is waiting for something with her samples, or the time she wouldn't use for research anyway because some things take time, I don't see harm in her spending this time as she wishes, volunteering. And Zygmunt smiles even more broadly. Spoken like a true diplomat. Thank you, Nastia. I am inclined to agree that if there is time where you need to wait for something in your research and can't make any steps towards establishing a blood bank, you can, of course, spend your free time as you wish, Janina. I make no claims to rule it.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to, however, stress to you the importance of what we're doing, and this is not just a pragmatic concern to have some vita available for some of us to heal. And he kind of relaxes and sits back at it. What we are doing is an opportunity to create a completely new way of living for all of us, kindred and humans. Imagine the world where we no longer have to prey on humans, but can coexist with them in peace, gaining our sustenance from the dead, the vita preserved for us, for when we need it. No need for assault and subterfuge. That is what you're working towards, Janina.
I know it's a priority, and I want to help us achieve that. I think the dead bodies that I have in the hospital, they're almost unusable now. I used all that I could, and I will probably need more in the future to continue.
I understand. I've been thinking about this. Of course, the question is how we procure more bodies to source vita. My thinking is that as a first step, we could use some of the people who die at the hospital anyway.
Yes, that's a reasonable thinking.
I know it sounds grim, but it is. Only those who simply not survive.
I know, but just how to do it because I think a lot of times the loved ones want the body from the hospital. They want to bury it.
Oh, we will not get in the way of that. I'm sure you and Mr. Potocki can try to arrange something. I would not wish to keep the bodies for longer than necessary. That might raise suspicions. And as for now, we're operating in strict secrecy.
Yes. Yes.
You would have to extract the vita you can quickly and then release the body to the families. Nobody needs to be concerned. There's no need to raise suspicion and unnerve the loved ones.
Yes, that's a very good point, sir. I'll make sure to talk with Mr. Potocki about this.
Thank you. Seeing you work at this and seeing how close we are to something materializing, something better, something more than our existence so far, really brings joy to my heart.
It does make me feel fulfilled as well. I want to do something good to make our existence better and less grim to those of the living.
As do the three of us, I'm sure. And Nastia's nods. I don't believe I shared this before, but there is a legend. Don't know if it's true or not, but some say there was a time when we used to coexist in peace with the mortals in a city in an ancient time. Before that was destroyed through, well, as I understand it, machinations of some other kind. I don't know if it's true or not, but regardless, the harmonious existence with humans is something we can create and make it real in the present day and in the future.
Yes, that's what I would want.
Nastia hesitates for a moment, and he notices it and smiles. Nastia, you have your reservations. She sort of looks down, but then looks up at him. I don't have reservations about the idea. It sounds beautiful, and I'm not sure. It sounds so far from where we are. It's easier for me to understand the pragmatic implications. Like, he sort of smiles and shakes his head. Janina, you wouldn't know this, but me and Nastia have been at this few times already. She's a pragmaticist at the heart, but we're working on it.
I look at both of them and smile.
I, of course, don't want you to think, Janina, that I'm not considering the pragmatic side of things. I don't expect my dreams and visions from legends will materialize overnight. I know what we're doing is just a very small first step. I believe, however, and he looks to Nastia, that we have a unique opportunity here to make something work. In many cities, I agree it wouldn't be possible. They're too settled in their power struggles. They're too busy with our kind tearing at each other. But here, Things are changing and reorganizing. And the prince, I must tell you, is receptive. She listens. She can look further into the future than others. I believe she can be persuaded to go even further, as she sees our steps working. Nastia just says, I didn't mean to. I'm just concerned, that's all. And he smiles. Nastia, I always want you to speak your mind. That's how all of us grow. Janina, what's your take on all of this?
Well, I like the idea of us coexisting at peace with the humans. And I like the idea. It gives me hope. And it gives something to look forward to in the future.
He smiles. Then keep that idea in your mind as you are working on seemingly small tasks that can be first step towards reorganizing how we live.
Yes, I will keep that in mind.
I trust you to prioritize wisely. If you wish to help in other way, I will of course not forbid it. I know you're coming from the place of care and idealism, and I respect that. That is, after all, what drives us all. I will leave it to your judgment.
All right. Thank you, sir, for listening and sharing your insights. I look at Nastia and are you gonna be all right here?
Of course, I'm good here. I have some reading to do and I'm sure some debating to do. And she glances to Zygmunt and he smiles. Oh, I'm sure. And I look forward to it.
So you're going to stay here in the future nights? Or will you be coming back to the hotel?
I think for now it would be wise if I stay here more often.
All right. Then I will come visit you here in a few days.
She smiles and Zygmunt says, you're always welcome here, Janina.
Thank you. I will definitely be visiting Nastia and you in the next few days, if we won't see each other in the hotel.
And we will look forward to it. We might visit the hotel tomorrow. I should check on some things.
Anything you want me to maybe do in the hotel once I'm there?
Oh no, we have telephones for communication. The marvels of technology.
Oh yes. In that case, I will probably be going because I have some other things I want to do. If you don't mind.
And what you're doing for me with the research is enough. You don't need to offer anything more.
Oh no, it was just, a friendly offer.
Of course.
All right, I will say goodbye to both of them. And if Nastia will lead me to the door, then I will kiss her.
She will, and she will kiss you and say, thank you for coming with me.
Of course, I want you to be safe. Stay safe here and have fun with Zygmunt.
I like being here. I like that he listens to my thoughts.
That's very nice. I will come visit you in maybe either the next night or the next night after that, depending on if there will be some tasks that I will have to do.
Come as often as you want.
Yes, but I feel better knowing that you're with Zygmunt in a safe place. All right, see you, and I will kiss her and leave. And I will probably, if there is time, I will go try to walk to the other hospital where Hannah is.
Oh, you would have time to do this. So you start heading towards the hospital where Hannah is. What's on your mind as you're walking there?
Probably thinking about the research, because I feel like the way how Zygmunt talked about it really made me gave me more motivation for it and make it seem even more important, and not just because he says, but because of the ideas that he has about it. So that's probably, I'm thinking about how I could better my research to be more efficient. And also about Nastia, that I'm glad that she's there. I feel safer leaving her with Zygmunt. That's probably what I think about on the way to the hospital.
What do you think of Zygmunt's ideas?
I think what I said to him, I was genuine, because I think it speaks to... Sorry, cats are interrupting and they're playing now. And I think I agree with his ideology, so it makes me feel positive and important. Not important that I am part of it, but important that it might be helping our kind, and the idea of us coexisting in peace with humans, it makes me feel better. I think Daniel would also like that, if he didn't have to hunt and just could live off dead bodies.
So you're hopeful for this ideal getting realized, and you contributing to it. And with these thoughts, am I right in assuming you feel somewhat better about many things?
Yes, I think Janina lately, to talk with Daniel, and I think just having Nastia and being in love, Janina gave her some motivation to try to live, and just more hope, and try more to make something, not just mindlessly sacrificing her life, but to try to do something nice for the future and to be there for the future.
And hopeful, more motivated, you are walking towards the hospital where the woman whom you want to enslave with your blood is waiting. Meanwhile, there, you leave the office of the Ventrue primogen. You know the way out. You have to walk back to the hotel. You came here on your own. What are you thinking about? How are you feeling about this whole plan that was presented to you, given your last meeting with Arek?
Yeah. I genuinely want for this to work, because the Sabbat is causing so much chaos and destruction in the city that there has to be a productive way of thinning their numbers. But yes, the idea that Arik is going to die, or certainly if the Sabbat don't show up, he will die. And if they do, there's still quite a high likelihood. That doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like how I used to think it would feel. But having spoken to the Ventrue primogen, having spoken to Mr. Lubomirsky, it's for the good of the sect, and I need to work through my feelings, and I need to think about whether I feel up to being involved. I'll certainly begin making preparations and whatnot, and while I'm working through it, it's a mixture of both determination and doubt. It's a weird, messy feeling. But I'm also thinking that perhaps there's a chance here to, I don't know, redirect Zoya's anger, and that might make one plan a little bit smoother, or horrifically not smooth. We'll see. It's complicated, and I was already emotionally and mentally exhausted at the start of this evening, and I'm not feeling any less tired.
I'm tired. Are you heading back to Hotel Bristol, or is
Yes.
there somewhere else you're going?
I think I'm heading back to the hotel. I'll maybe try calling Felicia when I get into the hotel and see if she's back at the flat. But if not, then I'll probably just head to court and see if who's there.
And I think with that, we can end for tonight. Thank you so much for playing.
Thank you for running.
And thank you to everyone who's been watching. We really appreciate you being here with us to continue the story of Bea and Janina. We will be back in 2 weeks. We're hopefully back on a regular schedule now. So the next episode is on the 21st of February, same time, that is 6:30 p.m. GMT here on the Lamias channel. We hope to see you with us again in 2 weeks. And for now, good night. Thank you.
Good night.